Hi guys, this is an updated tier list for Season 4 Reloaded. We had 2 new guns since our last video, and many attachments got buffed, like CHF barrel and rapid fire usually don't increase recoil as much as they used to. So I wanted to just give you an update on my tier list, and I changed the format a little bit because repeating the same stuff over and over again doesn't really add value, I think. So, disclaimer, this is my subjective tier list. I usually put a high focus on just general usability. I don't like to bring 2 guns into an Easter egg attempt as an example. I usually just bring 1 gun, completely upgrade that. So I prefer guns that are good at everything or as many things as possible. And this forms my opinion how this tier list is basically made. And I already did everything because that speeds up things a little bit and lets me get to the point quicker. And I just tell you stuff about guns that are, I think, outstanding in a way. And I would just go from D tier to A tier or S tier. Let's start with the AG1. It's just, this doesn't have really a purpose. So D tier it is. Dissector is really good at body shot DPS and boss damage, but I think it just struggles too much in especially early rounds and if you compete with others over kills. This gun only is really good when zombies start to hoard up a little. So I don't see really a point because this is basically good in a niche, but the Maelstrom, spoiler alert, does everything so well. Most of the guns in this category just don't have a purpose, you could say. FR has the issue of very low damage per shot, even though the rate of fire is high, doesn't really help. This is just the ASL well in bad. So use something else. PP919, high magazine, low damage, not recommended. PPSH, high rate of fire, low damage, you can see a pattern here, runs too quickly out of ammo, so I almost never use this. The Zarkov is a semi-auto marksman rifle, but all other available options are either higher in damage or just shoot faster or are easy to use. So this sits in a weird spot. Ladra for me is similar to FR and PPSH. High rate of fire, low damage, recoil a little too inconvenient, so I skip on it. C tier are my weapons that either excel in a niche or are just outclassed by other options. So Sigma is great for boss DPS, but doesn't really have a purpose besides that. But if you need an explosive rocket launcher, use this. AK, wobbly, recoil, average DPS, that's why it's so low. XMG has high body shot DPS. That's why it is not D tier anymore, because you can combine this with a double standard. And if you have sloppy aim, it's okay, but I think it leads to bad habits. So use something with a higher crit damage and aim for your headshots. The 9mm pistol is semi-auto, does good damage, but yeah, it's low in range and just gets outclassed by higher options. The AEK, don't use this in burst, it's just complete garbage. Either use the full auto mod, then it's okay, but the small magazine holds it back a little. The Chacal PDW is just an SMG without any USP, you could say. It's just there, but not exciting. TR2 is a burst rifle, and I think the second best burst rifle in the game. After some buffs, honestly, it's okay, but still, it's easier with a full auto gun to just aim at head height and dump bullets into them. Then we have multiple snipers here. I think the HDR and Frostline are very similar. One does more damage, one shoots faster. And sniper rifles are not bad at all, but they start to struggle on higher rounds and they are just slow in handling. Honestly, I wish they would do even more damage, so they are almost borderline broken. And then you have an inconvenient gun that just slaps. AMR mod 4 was the meta once, but it doesn't really scale well with double tap. So even though it does good damage, I think it's not really a high-T option anymore. SX Model 7 is a fast-firing sniper rifle-style gun, even though it's a marksman, but it feels more like a quick-scoping sniper rifle. And it's better than those two just because it shoots faster and it's easier to use. Then we have basically multiple assault rifles. Cypher, Model L, Amos, GPR. They are different in nuances. One has more recoil, the other has more damage. But they are just average. They don't stand out in any way, so I just dumped them into here as a group almost, because I don't want to say they are interchangeable, but they feel, I don't know, difficult one. I don't think they are special enough to warrant them pushing up higher. Then C9. This got a buff because it now has tighter tech stand spread, but I think it struggles a little bit with damage overall. So I put this lower. I think this could be higher if there weren't too many other good guns nowadays. The Compact 8092 is basically a fast-firing SMG done right. It has very tight hipfire, manageable recoil. Reserves are still an issue, but it's not as bad as those guns down here. The nail gun is a special weapon, functions more like an SMG. It has very low bullet velocity. That means you need to aim higher slightly. You need to aim in front of enemies. The DPS is okay. I have a soft spot for this weapon for some reason. I think it just feels good in a way, but the practical performance isn't really outstanding. The Siren 9mm was really good for a while because it had low recoil, very high DPS at close range, but it doesn't scale well with double tap. And we have just better options nowadays for close range damage. So I think this is a little boring. That's why I put it in the middle of B tier. The ASG is a semi-auto shotgun. Still great, honestly, but a little lackluster. You could say it needs to shoot either faster or they need to bring down the Maelstrom a little bit for me to use this again. Then we have the Goblin MK2. It's semi-auto, shoots very fast, over 900 rounds per minute, but without a macro or a turbo controller, I think most people can't hit that. So if you have an insane trigger finger or any way to shoot the gun as fast as possible, basically, this is A, maybe even S tier, because it has outstanding DPS, but most people can't fire it fast enough. The Olympia is the new shotgun. It has 4 shells, very slow recoil, reload I mean. It has really high damage per shot. So if you use anything to get around the reload times, like augments with Deadshot and Critical Eye that give you ammo back, you can make this work. Or if you use it for boss DPS, use something like Free Fire or Frenzied Guard, and you can do insane damage. I think it's almost 3 times higher than, as an example, the Dissector, 150k I think, which is really good for body shot DPS. Next one is the SWAT 556. In this case, it's ranked as the conversion kit, the Grau. I think the burst variant is just D tier. If you use the Grau, it's very reliable, but I think the small magazine is an issue here. You spend too much time reloading, so it's not an A tier. Then we have 2 SMGs that are kinda similar. High mobility, okayish damage, very tight tech stand spread. That means you can use the text laser if you want to have some fun high mobility builds, but they are not as good DPS wise as other guns in the next tier. Then we have A tier. I think they are perfectly usable for everything. We start with a Tanto. It has high vertical recoil, so it can be an issue on mouse and keyboard, but I think on controller it's just easier to pull the stick down and mash your left trigger to snap on heads. So this is A tier, maybe even better. I just don't like it as much on mouse and keyboard, to be honest. Next one is the SVD. This is like a shotgun after packet punching, but it's slow on the handling side. That's why I rank it lower than other shotguns available. High reserve ammo. Marine SP is better than I thought it would be. It shoots faster. I retested this recently. and it reloads faster and it shoots faster than I expected it. I think they did some changes to reloading. You now can reload 8 shells with a barrel in 1.5 seconds. So yeah, great choice. But it's still a pump action, so it's not hold down the trigger and everything dies, but you need to mash your trigger, and it's at an awkward rate of fire. Not really spammable, not really slow enough to be timed shots, you could say, so it's right in between. But yeah, good option. Kilo is... I put this higher. Or more like this. Kilo is low recoil, is an assault rifle with low recoil, big magazine, very easy to use, good DPS, and I think it's very similar to the XM4 in this regard. So I think these guns are almost interchangeable. Then we have the KSV, better than expected. This got some buffs to its recoil indirectly, and I don't know, it's easier than I remember. That's why I pushed it up a lot, because it has great DPS, but I always thought it's not really worth it because the recoil is so inconvenient. But yeah, I actually like it. Feng is an LMG, very high DPS. Don't use the Belt-Fag mag on it. Could probably even be S tier, but I don't know. It's I think other options in the category, and especially in S tier, just have some unique thing going for it, and this is just sitting in between, you could say. Then the GS45's controversial one. I think this is not an S tier weapon anymore. The Maelstrom completely replaced it. It still has good boss DPS, great for hard clearing, but we have an ammo issue, and it doesn't work on the Tomb boss fight. And I think if you are just looking for an easy all-around weapon, the Maelstrom is just better in every regard. So high A tier, but that's debatable, honestly. Then we have the LR762, and I underestimated this gun. It has lower DP or lower DPS than the GS45, but very high ammo reserves. So it's almost impossible to run out of ammo with this. It has good boss DPS, it has a high body shot DPS, okay short clearing potential. So this is just a very brain dead weapon. Aim it at the floor and kill everything. But sniper rifle, shoots slow, so not the best high mobility option, you could say. Then we have the DM10. I think this is great. It has a binary trigger, so you pull the trigger once and release it, and it shoots twice. So you shoot basically at double the rate of fire that you spam the trigger. So it's very easy to shoot this at the fire cap. What holds it back a little is the high vertical recoil. So this could be a lot higher if it just was a little easier to use. But DPS-wise, it's crazy. Then we have the PU-21. And I think it's very comparable to the GPM7. Of course, it's an LMG, so it's slow, but the Belt-Fag mag is what makes the shine, because I think you can shoot almost 200 rounds with it before it overheats. With double tap, double time, that's important. Without double tap, you basically can fire forever. So this weapon is just very reliable. You need stopping power, you get it. No reloads, you just move a few meters or just interrupt firing shortly, and it reloads or recovers so many shots that it only gets an issue on either high rounds or on boss DPS that you ever need to wait for your cooldown. And because it has higher recoil than the GPM7, I rated it lower. Then the Krig C, very good all-around assault rifle. Big magazine, high damage. I think this is a very good early game weapon. As an example, if you just need to get a wonder weapon and you need something to bridge the way to that, it's just reliable, easy, convenient. Then we have two pistols here, and they buffed pistols a lot. So I like the Strider 2 best with Akimbo and the burst fire mod. Semi-auto, it's okay, but it's just more convenient to hold down the trigger and shoot in burst, so you don't need to spam it. It has very tight hip fire, so I think it's the only Akimbo gun I actually like for that reason, because the hip fire is so tight you can go actually for headshots and the bullets don't go everywhere. So it's less ammo wasting than other options. Still, ammo is not really its best aspect, but the damage output is so high you could almost say it's another free pack-a-punch tier to just use Akimbo. So buying ammo from time to time shouldn't really be a big issue. Next one is the Grakova. Very high close range DPS. short range, just 5 meters. Reserves sometimes can be an issue, but it makes up for just the crazy damage it has. And don't use this akimbo. I think the spread is just too much. Some people use this as a boss DPS tool, but the body shot damage I think is very comparable. So you can bring this as a side weapon basically for special boss damage or something. But as a primary with akimbo, it struggles. So use this as a single gun and then it's great. Then we have the CR56MX. It's very reliable as an assault rifle. I think it would be high A tier then, but you can convert it into a semi-auto gun with the 10-round attachment, which is actually 60 shots after Pack-a-Punch. So it's high damage, low recoil, very high reserves. If you like semi-auto guns, this is, perfect for everything. You never run out of ammo. It can go even for medium and high rounds. Struggles a little with armor damage, but I think that's okay. Then we have the GPM7. It's just PU21 and easier to use. Belt-track mag makes crazy DPS. You almost never have to reload. Slow handling, of course, but I think that's a worthy trade-off. Next one is the ASVAL. That has the highest full auto DPS that is not really limited in range, you could say. This is just 5 meters as an example. This is over 20. So it will be great at all ranges. It has enough magazine size, so you don't need to reload constantly. So I think this is the best full auto option right now. And still, it was basically always. And last but not least, the Maelstrom. This gun is basically double S tier or whatever. It's so good. It's in its own category, but I had too many guns in A tier, and that made it difficult to distinguish the good from great. That's why I put more guns into S tier again. The Maelstrom has 12 meters of range with Dragon's Breath. I recommend this attachment, even though it technically lowers your DPS, but because of the range increase in most scenarios, you will do more damage because of that. It is just good at everything. Boss DPS, horde clearing, doing Easter egg steps. If you need an easy gun, use this. There is nothing that competes with it. Better than most Wonder weapons. So yeah, I hope you like this shorter style. I think going through everything again and again is just a little draining, and usually shorter videos are just better received. So I scroll out a little so you can see everything. This is my tier list for Season 4 Reloaded. If you have any disagreements, you can leave me a comment or just tell me your opinion on this. And I will do another one with Season 5 after I tested the new guns. I want to make those closer to launch of a season in the future, but I will stick with this shorter style so I don't need to go for half an hour again and again. I think it's, I'm wasting your time, I'm wasting my time. This is just a better, quicker, and thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya!